samurai
Well, I was
sword.
going to
in
do
3.
my hour with Louis on selling on his website, and he got fucking. I don't know what the fuck.
Shit, what are you gonna do?
Man, piece of shit. Did you watch that documentary about Gawker and Hulk Hogan?
No, I did not.
Oh my God, it's on Netflix. If you got to see it because it's amazing. It's very heavily skewed to make you feel bad for Gawker. But it doesn't. It actually makes you go, "Are you shitting me, Gawker?" Like, what
Makes you feel bad for Cosby. It's like, dude, you can't sell me that.
I feel bad for fucking Donald.
Why do you think it's designed to make it you feel
Because
bad for
they're
Gawker?
like, so Hulk Hogan basically, because Gawker, this is how the news media, like that despicable shit they did to Louis in the New York Times, which shouldn't. The New York Times is now a fat girl's diary, basically. Like, they never should have been allowed. My girlfriend made that up. I didn't make that.
That's very funny.
And he said that's
And he's
funny shit.
And he's very funny.
But that's what it is. And nonsense. I mean, like, dude, if you read the article, there's no crime. People just make up what did Louis do? I used to ask, like, when that shit happened to him, I go, what did Louis do wrong? And they go, well, one time at work, my boss grabbed my tit. My ex-girlfriend says to me, I'm like, I'm sorry, I asked you what Louis did. It's not about that. We're going to use him as a fucking symbol. Because what did he do wrong? Ask for consent for non-contact? And, like, what are you talking about? Like, why would that have to come out, and why would that be anybody's business? It's to make him look like he's a Weinstein for comedy. Like Harvey Weinstein, right? And by the way, Harvey Weinstein, that's the old casting couch, which I'm like, good, get rid of that shit. But they try to paint Louis up, a stand-up comic, as if he's a producer-director. Like, it is a conflict of interest if you have a producer come to my room. They're like, hey,
Right.
But another comedian at a festival, it's reasonable to think you might be fucking because you're not on a different. It's a power level. We're comedians. We don't work for a corporation together.
Right.
Okay, we're each an independent company, and the companies can fuck with each other all they
So
want.
do you think that what it was is just a weird thing that he liked to do, and what they made it out to be is like a
They
sexual
made it look like
assault
he's
type
a fucking a predator, and there was no such anything. He never surprised people jerking off. Now, I'm going off what Louis told me.
Right.
And by the way, I believe Louis, by the way.
Oh my God, you're supposed to believe women. There's a whole new thing.
What kind of an imbecile?
Pound me too?
I mean, first of all, there's no woman on this earth who's stupid enough to just believe women. Like, women know way better. So I'm just, what imbecile?
Well, people, yeah.
It's like,
people.
the fact that you're a woman is not exhibit A.
But you do have
That's
to
not
admit,
evidence.
But you do have to admit it's kind of weird to just do like an impromptu whack-off sesh.
Yeah, it is weird, unless, like,
But
let's
he's
say you're
weird.
talking about sex shit back and forth
It's
with
nothing
someone.
like Weinstein,
and then-
but it's just like you start whacking.
But that's
No, he
a
didn't do
point
that.
that you told me. That's a point that you told me. Tell
Dude,
that
the
point.
lies of omission. First of all, I'll just go off the article because I don't know what trouble I'll get in saying whatever.
Don't say anybody's name.
But just read the fucking article, okay? There's nowhere where it says, then he says, hey, will you watch me masturbate? Somebody said no, he didn't masturbate. They went and said something, reported or whatever, supposedly. And by the way, the story of that I know more about, it's despicable how they frame that. The guitar comic thing, absolutely despicable how they frame that.
What's
okay?
the guitar comic?
That
fuck is he
so
talking
lost,
about?
man.
Did anybody read the article? Nobody did, right? Nobody reads the article.
I don't read the New York
No,
Times,
just
man.
read the
I don't
headline.
think I read it. I
Of
don't
course
think I
not.
read it.
He literally did nothing. If you read, never mind what I would know personally, just read the article. Nobody bothered to. So all this nonsense that everybody put out of him surprise whacking off, that's not even in there, okay? Like it's the first one is the guitar duo that people thought were Garfunkel and Oates because all these young kids can't imagine anything happening before.
Who?
The guitar duo that Louis supposedly jerked off. You don't remember this?
No.
That's why they
Man,
made
I'm
the
missing
article.
a lot of shit.
Guitar duo that Louis jerked off in front of?
The New York Times article.
See, I saw like some of the headlines and saw some people commenting it online.
That's okay.
And
What do
I
you
read,
think? Just let me ask. What do you guys think Louis did that he got in trouble for? I'm just
asked
curious.
someone to if he could masturbate in front of him, and then did it. They said yes, and he did it. That's it. Essentially.
so-
and then
right.
asked it to people who said no, and they felt very uncomfortable, and they had to work with him.
Right.
That is the sexual harassment aspect of it.
Right.
That's the difference. Like if you're on a TV set.
Right.
Like that's the only one that I read and went, wow, that's crazy. But you were telling me something.
Yeah, I don't. You
about-
know what? I'm
you-
not gonna. He could say what he wants. You know, what I mean? Like,
You
I'm
don't
not
want
gonna
to explain.
I'm not
okay.
gonna take
Yeah,
shit.
Yeah,
That,
Don't
so
do
he
it.
told me in
Yeah,
confidence.
no,
and,
no need to.
and,
no need to.
but I'll just
that
suffice
there's
it to say-
more to the story.
Yeah, but there's a flat out agenda here. Now,
What's the agenda?
to ruin a guy who, well, I mean, he's Mexican. Now I know it doesn't help his case. But
People
it's
don't even know
to
that
ruin
Louis
a
is from
guy-
Mexico.
Dude, this is like the Taliban. This shit now, like they have to.
Bro, I've been in
he's
this
a Buddha,
too, man.
Louis a fucking Buddhist statue that has to be exploded. Do you understand? We now have to take all these unfunny people, okay, that for political reasons, and you can't have evidence of someone being funny that fits in the wrong group.
It's the Stalingrad.
can't have that.
There's no Stalingrad
So they
funny
got to
bone.
kill his fucking leg. See, patriarchy is like every man that ever achieved anything, they got to remove it. So we're going to throw Louis away. Louis C.K., we're going to throw him away with Harvey fucking Weinstein, as if that's remotely the same.
I'm sending you right now, Jamie. You got to put this shit up. You're going to cry. Yeah, no, you're right in some ways that there's a Taliban going on. But if a guy like Harvey Weinstein existed, you know there was a real fucking problem for a lot of people.
For sure. 100%. In fact, Hollywood's fucking despicable.
It's both things. What you're saying is true, and that's true.
But the idea that another comedian, because back when this supposed happened at Aspen, Louis was not a fucking, he was a comedian who was a few more years ahead than these two girls that were also comedians. I've been at festivals and had sex with comedians.
This is outrageous.
Yeah, but
Do you sure
have
you want
you
this
not done that?
broadcast on the internet?
Or fucked even industry and shit at a
Wait a
festival
minute.
in a drunk hotel?
Were these girls attractive and you were attracted to them and you guys had consensual sex? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, rape.
What in the fuck, dude?
That's, or as it's known now, rape.
Look at this guy. 88% of white wealth is due
How
to
do you
unearned
decide
privilege.
that?
He's
Like-
got a t-shirt on. I hope that that's not really his shirt. I hope somebody thinks he's a fucker and they Photoshop
Yeah.
that shit on his shirt. Like maybe that's like
But do you
some
see how
girl's dad.
fucking despicable? Because first of all, what does that have to do with me at all? Like,
They want your money.
let's say if I earn something
First
and
of all,
80%, I'm not in that.
When you throw those numbers up, I want to see studies. I want to see 88%. Well, that's a very specific
Wait,
number.
Do you not notice the fucking shit that this is a white? This is how you know this is a young white woman led fucking movement. The social jihadis. They're just fighting for the right to do to white men what they've always done to black men, which is like, he scared me, I want him fired.
Well, it's also
They're now just grouping all the men. So congratulations, you get to be like an N-word now.
well, it's also toxic femininity.
Louis was like the turning point. I mean, you know, all these allegations are terrible. Louis was the only, I shouldn't say this, but fuck it. His allegation was the only one that made me like laugh. If you think about it. Because all his friends is reading it and he's jerking off and he's surprising people. He's surprising me. I just picture all the comics and comedy just reading it like, what? It's terrible. I know it's terrible. I'm sorry, ladies. You're right. You are right. But at the same time, I mean, you know what I mean? I don't know. Jesus Christ, they took everything from Louis. I was like, I don't know, it might be disproportionate. Can't tell. I can't tell. This is like where it's hard to be a man. One lady said, Louis C.K. masturbating in front of me ruined my comedy dreams. Word. Well, then I dare say, madam, you may have never had a dream. Come on, man, that's a brittle spirit. That is a brittle-ass spirit, nigga. That shit is too much. This is a grown-ass woman. You know what this shit is like? It's like COINTELPRO. You know what that is? It's a program that the FBI had under J. Edgar Hoover. In this program, one of the many things they did was they would track the sexual habits of anyone they considered an enemy of the state. It was a lip button. That's why they got all these fucking sex tapes with Martin Luther King fucking bitches. But lucky for us, he actually had a dream. You think if Louis C.K. jerked off in front of Dr. King, he'd be like, I can't continue this movement. I'm sorry, but the freedom of black people must be stopped. I didn't know this nigga was gonna pull his dick out and jerk off like this. I just thought we were gonna get a couple of drinks and chill. Show business is just harder than that. Them women sounding like, I hate to say it, they sound weak. I know it sounds fucked up, I'm not supposed to say that, but one of these ladies was like, Louis C.K. was masturbating while I was on the phone with him. Bitch, you don't know how to hang up a phone? How the fuck are you going to survive in show business if this is an actual obstacle to your dreams? I know Louis is wrong, ma'am. I'm just saying I'm held to a higher standard of accountability than these women are. Don't forget who I am. Don't forget what I am. I am a black dude. I was right once. Remember that? Does anybody remember when I was like missing from show business for 12 years? Remember when I had like this really popular show and I quit? I remember I walked away from $50 million. A lot harder than walking away from Louis' freckled dick. I didn't know that I'd ever work again. And yet here I am tonight. Did my dream die? No.